Hey folks, want to come on here and shoot a quick podcast. If you're watching the video version, please excuse the background. I am in a bit of a different location than usual. I'm in a house in Connemara on the west of Ireland, down here with family, and decided it was a good idea to shoot a podcast. A number of things on over the last few weeks and missed an episode and was going to miss another one this week, but decided that I'd come on here and do a solo one instead. Hope you don't mind. And thought it would be good after 3 guests just to introduce myself a bit if you're new to the show or if you just wanted to know a bit more about me. I'll try to keep this as simple, concise as possible. I'll do my best to be honest, open, and transparent. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop me a message on most social media platforms. I think I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, a number of them. The more I get into it, the more I realize how many platforms there are, which is, I suppose, a good thing. I did study digital marketing, so maybe it's a good thing. But anyway, enough of that. I will firstly get into how the podcast is doing. By the way, thank you for listening and taking the time to spend either in the morning, afternoon, or evening with myself and the guest. So far, we've had 3 guests, all have different backgrounds, which has been fun and very interesting for me to chat to people from all different walks of life. The only common denominator, they have a few things in common. They're all from Ireland or born in Ireland. Hopefully, I've some international guests lined up. One that definitely comes top of mind over the next few weeks, which is exciting. And they all happen to be, I think they all identify as male. I'm sure they're all men, male. I don't want to get into, anyway, I'll stop there. But yes, let me just find this for you. I found some stats on the podcast that I can share on here if I can get it open. Anyway, I probably didn't need to bring up that, but anyway, I just thought I would. I need to get maybe some women on the podcast soon to share their stories. Be pretty interesting. Not that I've any anyway. I'll confuse myself. I keep going, so I'll stop there. One sec. Just let me open up. So the podcast is on Spotify, and then they have an app for creators as well, which gives me some stats on different sort of things that I need to know. And I'll just give you a quick breakdown. The majority of listeners are 84%, 85% male, 15% female, and then there's non-binary, non-specific, 0%, 0%. The age range is the most popular one, 62% is 28 to 34. Then you have 11%, which is 23 to 27, and then you have 16.3%, which is 35 to 44. And there's a few other ones, on close to the edge, 18 to 22, 45 to 59, 60 plus, which are 1% is 18 to 22, 23 to 27 is 11.2%, and then I'll go again, 28 to 34 is 62.2%, 35 to 44 is 16.3%, 45 to 59 is 3.1%, and then 60 plus is 6.1%. So it's interesting. It's good to know the breakdown. Geographic location, 80% of listeners are from Ireland, so hence the Irish guests. 8% or 8.2% from the United Kingdom. Hong Kong, 3.1%, which is interesting. I know a few people based, I think, are from Hong Kong, so it's great that they're listening. United States, 2%. Australia, 2%. I think they're based out of Hong Kong. Might have been born there. I have to double check. Australia, 2%. United Arab Emirates, 2%. Spain, 1%. France, 1%. And then what else do we have? Yeah, I think that's everything. Countries, mainly Ireland. So all platforms, or Spotify specifically, Ireland, Australia, United Kingdom, United States, audience. And a brief overview, I think I hit 50 streams, which is great. Thank you for listening, by the way. And then I think now we're up to 148 plays, so nearly 150. I guess that's a stream. Maybe not. I think it is a stream. My bad. Nearly 100 streams and 98, which is great. So a beginner, very much a beginner, but nonetheless having lots of insights and taking time to reflect on the conversations. Some of my biggest learnings, I'll go into sort of my background and myself in a moment, but some of the biggest learnings I've taken away from this is, I know it's long past the global pandemic now, but kind of still feel the effects of it, I suppose. Not much, but for me personally, definitely I'm still on a break for my health. I had some issues over the last number of years, which I won't get into too much, because thankfully they are either gone or in partial remission, which I will maybe mention in the end. But my biggest takeaway is the ability to connect with individuals that inspired me over the last number of years has been a big I don't know what the right word to say is, but I think that starting this podcast, I had a lot of initial fear on social media, but I think the podcast I tried to start 4 years ago, but forever I had health issues and I stopped. But the big takeaway, being able to chat to people that inspire me, so it's coming back, I lost my train of thought, my bad, is they all have different backgrounds and they all have something you can learn from. I know Pat Dibley, Irish coach, his title as a coach, he speaks about that he did a TEDx talk, and I'll get it up now. I'll get the correct title. I think you can learn from every conversation. I think every conversation you can learn from. And I think that was what his TEDx was called. And he's from Galway, I'm in Galway now. So I don't know if he's in Galway at the moment. May reach out and may try to get him on the podcast, because I remember watching him public speak one time in, I think, Dublin. There's an event space in town beside a restaurant called Fire. I think it's a Dublin Mansion Hall space. I could know this. I was born in Dublin, but anyway, top of my mind. And yeah, he was great. I really enjoyed listening to him, and he's been a big inspiration for me over the last number of years, listening to one of his TEDx talks. I think there's one TEDx talk or two. He's a number of different talks online, I think. Let me double check here. It is Pat Dibley. And excuse me if I'm a bit all over the place in my thoughts. I went for a sauna earlier. I'm just having some water now. So if my thought process is a little bit all over the place is the wrong word, but yeah, I'm just letting it flow and see what happens. It's my first solo podcast, so I am new to this. So it's Every Conversation Can Change a Life by Pat Dibley. And I think this is true for starting the podcast. Over the last 10, 12 years, I've listened to so many different hosts, and I can't count the hours that I've listened to of different episodes, from the fitness industry to marketing to tech to business to entrepreneurship to spirituality to personal growth, all different sports and just entertainment and current affairs, all different types. And there was a podcast there's a guy called, or a person called Drama. His name is Chris Paff, I think it is. He's based over in Los Angeles in California, and he was on a TV show called, I don't know the name, but let me double check. The great thing about this long form audio is you can kind of double check things as you go. So if I get it wrong, I can just hopefully you're still with me. Again, this is my first solo podcast, so I am a beginner. One sec. In the meantime, while it's loading, I'm just on ChatGPT here. Chris Drama Paff, known for his dynamic presence in reality TV and fashion, born in Akron, Ohio, entertainment and fashion entrepreneur, founder of Young and Reckless, which gained considerable traction and celebrity attention. By 2015, the company was generating significant retail revenue and being stocked in major outlets like Macy's and Paxson's. But long story short was the name of his podcast. So, and I think it's discontinued, but I got a lot from it. And I used to listen while I was in university, final year, and doing a postgraduate as well. But that leads me into a bit about my background. Hopefully that covers all the bases. Just wanted to update, if you're listening to this, about how things are going. And yeah, I will talk a bit about my background. There's more that I could expand upon, but I just wanted to touch on a few things. I have an about section on my social media page on Instagram, which I'll go over real quick, which help maybe shine some light on why I started the podcast and maybe to learn from others, because I stopped reading self-help books recently. I got to a point where I just felt like it wasn't working. Just my life was no longer improving. I think I read 125 books over a course of 7 to 8 years. But if you make it 10 years, that's a book a month on different topics, similar to the podcast: business, entrepreneurship, spirituality, marketing, sales, autobiographies, biographies, some history, maybe stoicism. But yeah, so on my over here, so I'll just read it out. I searched it on ChatGPT and this popped up. Dyslexia advocate and TEDx speaker Ryan has been featured on Living Well today, discussing how dyslexia, often seen as a challenge, can be framed as a superpower, not a disability. His TEDx talk in October 2020, titled The Secret Upside of Dyslexia, Not a Disability but a Superpower, gained attention for its empowering message. Academically, he graduated with a first-class honours from Technological University Dublin and went on to pursue a master's in digital marketing strategy at Trinity College Dublin. Personal branding and content creation. Ryan is recognized for his expertise in personal branding, having amassed over 1.6 million LinkedIn views and produced numerous podcast appearances focusing on CV building and authentic self-expression. He was featured on the PPI Insider podcast, where he discussed how digital marketing and consistent content creation shaped his journey. Digital specialist and career journey. Identifies as Ryan W. Conlon on LinkedIn, based in Dublin, Ireland. He held roles like campus editor at LinkedIn, associate account strategist at Google, showcasing a strong trajectory in digital marketing and strategy. Area and highlights: origin, Dublin, Ireland, education, first-class honours in TU Dublin, masters, masters, Trinity College Dublin. Advocacy, dyslexia speaker and self-development coach, digital role, brand strategy, content creation expert, Google and LinkedIn background, TEDx talk, shared mindset-based perspective on dyslexia. There are a few things that are correct here and a few things that could be touched upon. I probably am a dyslexia advocate, neurodiversity advocate, and TEDx speaker, definitely. I did in October 2020. Since it's been 5 years, I'm realizing with new documents that I found, there are a couple of mistakes, very rare, mistakes you wouldn't, it's a 60-minute long monologue that I memorized. So I'd say there's less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds of mistakes. So I'm being hard on myself. But anyway, I may talk about it on LinkedIn, just mention it briefly. I think it could be one of the most viewed TEDx talks in the country in Ireland. I have to double check. It's grown to about 125,000 views, which has been, the support I initially got from was overwhelming a bit overwhelming. It was, I suppose I wasn't used to all those messages at once. But yeah, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. Maybe not. Academically, graduated first-class honours from Technological University Dublin. That's true. Went on to pursue a master's in digital marketing strategy at Trinity College Dublin, Trinity Business School. I think it's number one in Ireland, digital marketing strategy course. And it was great. I the head of that course is now the head of the business school, which I called into recently. I think it's the top. It's triple accredited, which is among the top 1% of business schools globally, which is interesting. And I had a great time. There's a new building there, but yeah, I just thought I'd go on a bit more about myself. Personal branding, content creation. Ryan is recognized for his expertise in personal branding, having amassed over 1.6 million LinkedIn views. To be honest, I think it could be more by now. I think it could be up into 4 or 5 million. There was a software that I used that was completely legal, by the way. In case, and you're wondering, it's just an analytics software, kind of like a Sprout Social, just specifically for LinkedIn. It's where you can check all your views over time. And it's 1.6 million, but I think it's now probably around up to 4 to 5 million views. Yeah, and I gained a lot of momentum in my career at an earlier age from it. So I think there's a lot of value in LinkedIn, which I'm making onto at a later stage. What I mean by value is I think that you can create a lot of opportunities for yourself by using and creating content on the platform. So yeah, it's changed over the last 5 years. So I haven't been as active due to some health things going on, which I'll get into. But I won't make this too long. It's my first solo one. I may do another continuation solo one at a different stage. Focus on CV building. I think I talked about it once, didn't get into too much. Authentic self-expression, which, yeah, maybe it's a good thing to talk about, kind of expressing your own thoughts and being able to speak freely. Discussed how digital marketing assistant content creation shaped his journey. Identifies as Ryan W. Conlon on LinkedIn, based in Dublin, Ireland. Currently based in Connemara, but for the last few days, but we'll be back in Dublin soon. Identifies as Ryan W. Conlon. My full name, I tried to look this up for the last few years. I don't know if anyone out there, I don't think there's any middle names on birth certificates. So I went in, I just want to double check my birth certificate, and I think I had it in the house, in my parents' house. I live with my folks at the moment, and checked, and it was Ryan Conlon and no W. But I took my grandfather's names, William, Patrick, and then my granduncle Jimmy. 2 of them are from Limerick, the other one's from Tipperary. So I must visit those places. It's been a while since I've been to Limerick and Tipperary. I think it could be Waterford in there as well. And nothing clear, but Tipperary, Waterford. I think it's Tipperary. But yeah, Ryan, William, Patrick, Jimmy Conlon would be my full name, which sounds very, I don't know the word, unbothered, blasé. Anyway, I won't get into it. It sounds a bit, anyway. What am I like? Anyway, he held roles like campus editor at LinkedIn. That was an unpaid role. That was just me in university being a campus editor, which meant I could meet a load of other people creating on the platform LinkedIn. I was inspired. I've thought that LinkedIn was a social media network where there was minimal hate on the platform. Everyone seemed to get on quite well and was very supportive when you're starting to produce things on there. An associate account strategist at Google. That was a great time. I was there for a year and 1 month. I need to double check. I think the average tenure at Google could be a year and 1 month to a year and 3 months. That was during the global pandemic, so I was working from home. I don't think I can get too much into it, but I had a lovely time and the people there were great. And my personal development was, anyway, I wouldn't say skyrocketed, but I definitely learned from the people around me. What else can I say on this? Not too much. I'm not a self-development coach, although I was in the fitness industry. I worked as a coach in both Dublin and London. I was a CrossFit coach. I made a post about it. It was, I was there for 4.5 years in Perpetua, Dublin and London. And it was voted, the facility in London was voted one of the best gyms in the world by Men's Health. I think I was coaching there in 2018 for 9 months in London, so I would have been 23, which is an amazing experience. I think there's a book called The $1 Trillion Coach, and he mentions in it to coach executives like athletes. Unfortunately, I was able to do that at a young age, train some people in the financial industry and executives and business owners like their athletes. Didn't really tell them my age quite a bit. I came from a sport background. I played rugby and hurling, a bit of golf, the odd bit of table tennis, football. Beyond that point, I do support Manchester United, but my godfather passed last year, and he was a season ticket holder in Man United. So I must go to a game. I've never been to a game. Hopefully they can get back to winning Premiership titles. But again, try not to put too much pressure on the manager or the owner, because they're probably just doing their best, like us all, trying to just all get along. And yeah, I started a bit of jiu-jitsu there the other day as well, and currently running, trying to stick at running, using it to improve my health of the last, I already mentioned, of the last 4 years. I was always into fitness, and I was into performance and body composition. Could I get bigger? Could I get stronger? Could I get faster for both? I played hurling and what I mentioned, and rugby. But to a high enough level, I was on the senior cup squad in Blackrock College, and I played for Kilmacud Crokes at minor level, never intercounty, and we won a number of league titles. I didn't make the final senior cup team in the end. I had a number of injuries and got some feedback, but it was all good. I ended up being the head cheerleader that year. There's like a cheer squad that's in the stands, and yeah, I ended up winning a special award for my role contribution to the Junior Cup and Senior Cup campaigns. I got one that year, so it was great. I'm into music. I'm close to the team, so I also have a playlist as well called Weekly Wonders, which I make every week. It's mainly Afro house at the moment. I think house music could be good for your health. There's evidence that suggests it's good for happiness. The BPM of 120 to 130 beats per minute, and also the drop. I think the drop in it can add to it. I don't have the study right in front of me, but you'll have to triple check me and look it up. I think it could be good for your health. So I used to listen to quite a bit of hip hop. I lived in the US in 2000, and I studied in the US for 2 semesters in 2016, 2017 for a year, 9 months, which was an incredible experience. It was during an election year when President Trump was first elected to office, and it was a very special time, unique time to be in the US while that was happening. And where I was based, I won't get into politics too much. I'm not that into it. Kind of the odd bit of. I'm subscribed to the Morning Brew, which is a email newsletter for. I think I've made a post about it. Let me just double check. Yeah, there's a reason why 4 million professionals read the Morning Brew, and I think it gives you every morning. It's set up by 2 students in the US in business school. I think they were in the University of Michigan, and connected with the founders on LinkedIn, and their content, their personal content. I think they moved away from the business, or does that make sense? I think they've moved to another business that they created. Maybe one of them's still there, but one of the founders has moved on. And it gives you the up-to-date business, culture, tech news, and etc. every day. So I subscribe to that. And yeah, but back to the US, that was a great time. Got experience. I don't want to make this too much about me. Hopefully you get something away from it, value to the audience. I feel like I don't want to keep saying I, or me. Maybe we need to get a bit more comfortable with that. Or maybe not. Maybe it's good to, hopefully this can, you maybe take something from it, one thing or learning that maybe you can apply to your life. And yeah, or maybe you just enjoy the escape of the day-to-day. We're on a walk, we're on a run, having a listen. So yeah, I've lost my turn to, where was I? Excuse me. I'm just going to have a sip of water. I also I was very fortunate during my time in the US. Ireland beat the All Blacks, the rugby, for the first time in Soldier Field. I was very fortunate to experience that, which was an incredible moment. That was a real turning point for Irish rugby, I think. That's when they really, I think on that day, they realised we could be the number one team in the world. I think was that moment. And excited for them the next World Cup to see what happens after the back of the Lions win with Andy Farrell and a number of the Irish players that were involved. But yeah, I got to spend some time in New York as well. My sister lived there for 12 years. Excuse me, that's a table. For 12 years. And got to experience some other unique moments as well. We did a road trip through California. Utah was close to Vegas, so there's plenty of skiing in Utah as well, Park City. And we were in Vegas a few times. I wasn't that much into drinking. It was a dry campus that I was on as well. Very into the outdoors over there in the university, Southern Utah University, in my third year of when I was in Technological University Dublin studying business management. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much. I will leave bits for interpretation and for a follow-up one, maybe me part 2, me part 3, me part 4, if I missed anything or you'd like to expand. One thing what I will say is something that really excites me at the moment is the playlist I create every week and the podcast. 2 hobbies that I think are great for my overall well-being, if that makes sense. I just feel great when I do them. They give me some energy and I learn a lot. You can check it out, both of them on Spotify. Not affiliated, I don't get paid to say that. Who knows, maybe one day, but you can check it out on Spotify under Ryan Conlon. There's a Weekly Wonders playlist. That's house music, which I think would be good for your happiness. I said health, but I think it's happiness, the actual official study. And then podcast, the Ryan Conlon podcast, which this is it. So this is about 30 minutes. I think I'll leave it there. And there's a lot more that I could talk about. I currently, like I mentioned, on a break for my career and excited to get back. There's a number of things in my life that are really happening all at once. I shared a LinkedIn post recently, which I will talk about in one sec. Let me open it up. I have to tell you something. Of the last number of months, a lot has happened. I stopped working with the doctors for my mental health. I've gone off all psychiatric medications, thankfully feeling back to my old self again. Also, I'm grateful for the communities I have in my life. Without my family or friends, I wouldn't have made this to this point. That said, there are a few exciting things on the horizon for me, which I look forward to sharing on here over the next few weeks and months. Lastly, I thought I'd share a photo of myself. I'm a very close friend at his 30th birthday the other day. It's sort of me and my friend John. Him and Dave had the 30th. John Burke and David Gardner. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't ask them permission to mention anyone's names in this, so if they call me out, I'm sorry, and this will be taken down immediately. Maybe not sorry. So, anyway, one last thing, regards to, I'm also working with an executive coach at the moment, 3 sessions in, which is fun. In the past, I've done a lot of personal development without a coach, read books, podcasts, exercises, journals, and it's been great just having his name is Brian Kingston. We are 3 sessions in, and it's been great to have those conversations in a bit more of a structured way, and where I can talk openly about things that are going on in my life and ramping up for a career again and work, which is fun. And anything else to share, which is exciting? Number of guests coming up on the podcast. My mental health, which is something that I never really chatted about, I thought it was always pretty good, but I had a dip over the last few years, and I got a diagnosis for my troubles, and that is partial remission, which is exciting. That was 2 months ago, so hopefully it is close to a full remission, or maybe I'm moving at a bit of a quick pace, which I could slow down. I've talked about this before on my social media. It is no current medications. Current diagnosis is schizoaffective disorder, which I could go into detail about it, which I won't. You can look it up yourselves if you'd like. One of the podcasts, I will talk about it. All you need to know, it's currently in partial remission. I think we all have stuff going on, or someone said to me, we all have a cross to carry. So hopefully this is nearly gone and behind me, and I can step forward into this new chapter in my life, one hopefully being the continuation of this podcast. And yeah, also I got a last thing that I'll say. I know I said this was the last thing. This is one of the last things I'll say. Is I managed to get a working holiday visa to the. I was going to say. Anyway, got confused there. Got a working holiday visa to Australia, so I'm going to be going there for a year. At least building up the courage to go. There's a number of things in my life happening at once, including getting over this dip in my health, hopefully full remission from my mental health diagnosis, continuing to work with the coach, the executive coach, Brian. And if you want more information on Brian, feel free to reach out on any platform. I am excited to continue with the projects, the podcast, and the Weekly Wonders. And what else is something top of my mind I can think of? What else? Oh yeah, building up the courage to go to Australia, putting everything kind of behind me and creating space. I was chatting to the dentist that I go to, and he said it was a great way to create space between what has sort of happened and the next stage in life, or didn't say next stage, but he said what has happened. And so before, I've never been there, don't know what. I was chatting to one of my cousins who unfortunately passed last week, which has been a bit tough to take, not going to lie. This isn't a therapy session, but I will mention it anyway because it hit me a little harder than typical deaths. I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, it's just been a little more challenging to take. I don't think I've experienced the emotion of grief. Maybe I have, but just didn't understand what it was. So overcoming that, and yeah. Anyway, on a positive note, I will leave it there. And there's also a WhatsApp group recently created called the Parish for Health and Fitness. I used to play hurling, so it's good fun. And it's great. I got qualified. My work in the fitness industry, I want to continue that through this WhatsApp group. I got qualified as a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, and group coaching because my CrossFit level 1 expired, and I still have my other certifications: the weightlifting, the strength training, the starting strength, weightlifting, calisthenic athletics, and there's a number of other ones: lifestyle design and OPEX. And yeah, so I'll leave it there. Hopefully this is enough, not too much. I want to leave room for any other questions. And if you'd like me to do another solo episode, I will expand on any of the topics. I'm sure I've missed a number of things, like my time in the University of Galway in first year, my time in London, time living in the US, I touched upon, doing a postgrad, working in the tech industry, primary school, secondary school. So yeah, I leave it there. And thanks for listening, folks. And next week, I'm excited to bring another guest on, and we'll go from there. If you have one quick ask, what I would say, if you have the time, I would love if you left a quick review on the podcast. I've heard other people saying it, and it may help gain some traction, is the wrong word, but if you're enjoying it and you share with someone else or you leave a review, that would be great. Thanks, and have a lovely rest of your day.